Hi there everybody, this is David, and today we'll be ranking the entire Xeno series. That's right, we're looking at Xenosaga, Xenogears, and Xenoblade, and we'll be mashing them all together and ranking them all from worst to best. And now that Nintendo has provided me a free copy of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, I've been able to play every single one of them extensively, so I cannot wait to talk about all of these games, because I just think that it would be like a whole ton of fun. And if you're here to have some fun too, please do be sure to subscribe for some more top 10s, reviews, and news, and help me level on up to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And now, let's get on into our giant mechs and start this ranking. First up, as worst on our list, and to no one's surprise, should be Xenosaga Episode 2. I hate to say this about a Xeno-type game, but this one just sucks, and it is the only game on this list that I will say sucks. Everything else is fine. But this here is the awkward middle child of the series, trying so hard to be like edgy and mature that it forgets to be, fun. The name of the game is just long for the sake of being long cutscenes that last forever, and random battles to take upwards of 10 minutes, as well as dungeons that you'll be stuck in for like 5 hours. It's just long. Then the combat system is just way more complicated than it needs to be, with a confusing skill grid that feels like you're navigating a mobile game menu, except it's a full-length, long, brain-bending RPG. The characters, who were already kind of like melodramatic in the first game, take it to a whole new level here, getting deep into the weeds of philosophical questions like, what is life? What is the nature of the soul? And more importantly, why am I still playing this? My god, give it a rest already. Next up at number 2, we have Xenosaga Episode 1. Let me make something very clear here. We've already gotten past the only bad game on this list. From here on up, it's a race to the top. So yeah, this is the second lowest game on the list, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still a great game. So, with that out of the way, let's get on with this. I swear, it feels like this game here is split into 2 separate parts. The first part being like a somewhat interesting movie that you just sit back and watch, followed by the second part, which is a pretty boring game that you play. That being said, the story is at least the most coherent of the trilogy, introducing some great iconic characters like Xion and Cosmos. And the combat's fun, even though the battles, drag on, but not as much as the second game. But let's be real, the real draw here is the drama. It is melodramatic, it's philosophical, and it's downright bizarre in all the best ways. I feel like the developers were at the peak of their creativity here, and they wanted to give you a weird, compelling universe to explore. And that's exactly what you're going to be getting here, along with, hour-long cutscenes too, but at least here they're, interesting, unlike in the sequel. So it is a solid start to a deeply strange trilogy. Next up at number 3, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like this game has missed potential. It's super cool and all, with the setting and the floating continents and all that, but what just ruined it for me was whenever Monolith Soft decided to shoehorn in weirdo gacha mechanics, strange skill progression systems, and MMO-style fetch quests that just brought it down quite a few pegs. The world consisting of the floating titans is iconic, and there's a lot to love about the characters, but there's also this weird tension that's between the serious narrative of the Xeno games and the over-the-top anime tropes of the characters, and it just turns me off. Oh, and don't even get me started on the ridiculous fan service here. I mean, is this a serious RPG telling a serious story? Or is this an Idea Factory game? Figure it out. Number 4, Xenosaga Episode 3. Well, here we are, on the 4th game in the ranking, and already the Xenosaga trilogy has been exhausted. It's no wonder that this trilogy got prematurely canned. This game here brings the saga to a somewhat, maybe sort of satisfying conclusion. I mean, as satisfying as a philosophical robot apocalypse can be, and it does take everything that worked in Episode 1, drops all the junk from Episode 2, and adds in more action, better pacing, and thank God, less hour-long cutscenes. This here is easily the most normal of the trilogy, and that's saying something. It's basically the last chance to make sense of all the nonsense, and it kind of succeeds. By this point, the story's hit the fan so many times that the only logical thing left to do is just kind of embrace the chaos and try to wrap things up. I mean, Xion's personal growth feels earned, Cosmos is still the baddest bitch around, and the final battle, well, it's about as epic can be. And number 5, Xenogears. I absolutely adore this game, but I can't rank it any higher than this simply because it's, quite frankly, unfinished. The first disc is absolutely fantastic, but the second, it turns into like some sort of weirdo visual novel. Hey, let's go, we've got to wrap this thing up, sort of type of thing. It's kind of ridiculous. As the very first Xeno game ever made, this sets the tone for all the other games to follow, with giant robots, ham-fisted religious iconography, and more philosophical musings than you can shake a stick at. You could definitely tell that Square Enix was no longer shackled to Nintendo in 1998, because something like this would have never flown on their systems back on the NES and SNES. The turn-based battle system was revolutionary, the world was massive, and the cities are just as enormous. Then there's the music. It's just to die for. I personally still listen to the soundtrack today. And since they're going around like remastering and remaking all the Xenoblades, why can't we get a Xenogears remake? It's the one that really needs it the most. Number 6, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. While on the Wii U this was easily known as like the black sheep of the family, the Definitive Edition really elevated it up to the next level so that it can compete with its brothers. Instead of being an open region type of game like the rest of the games in the series, now it's completely open world, and you don't just explore Mira on foot. About a fourth or so of the way through the game, you gain access to a Skell, essentially flying mechs that you pilot, and you can soar all across the planet, really opening up everything. It is crazy how much content they threw into this one. But while the other Xenoblade games really focused on like a cohesive narrative and a small band of adventurers traveling together, this one unfortunately doesn't, and it throws the story out the window and instead focuses on the combat and the exploration. And because of that, it is great for those of you who love kicking ass and taking names. But it's also not exactly the emotional roller coaster that you might expect from a traditional Xenoblade game. Number 7, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition. Not many games can take my breath away, but whenever I first put this into my Wii, I was blown away. You play as Shulk, a young man who wields a legendary sword and finds himself caught in a conflict between two titans, and the combat system is a beautiful blend of strategy and action as you take on enemies in real time. But Shulk's Monado sword lets him manipulate time, which is a super fun mechanic during combat. Each character has their own predefined roles, and there's so many rewards for going off the beaten path and exploring. There's just so many hidden nooks and crannies with cool secrets and lore to discover. But what really sets it apart is the story. By the end, you're so invested in the characters that you'll find yourself just emotionally drained from all that they go through. The dialogue is sharp, the pacing is solid, and there's a sense of mystery and wonder that keeps you hooked from start to finish. And finally, number 8, Xenoblade 3. Here we are, the one Xeno game to rule them all. This takes all the best aspects of the previous games and kind of mixes them together into one massive masterpiece. Epic landscapes, giant monsters, lovable characters along with a deep and complex story about mortality. It is the perfect combination of like, oh, this is so much fun, and well, I need to go cry now. All the characters, each from warring nations, evolve throughout the game, showcasing personal growth and developing meaningful relationships with one another. It really makes the group dynamic feel genuine and real. The combat is great, and positioning plays a significant role, and the whole system has been expanded with the introduction of job classes, allowing everyone to switch between different roles, like attackers, defenders, and healers. And the world is the largest yet. It's just simply a triumph, not just for the series, but for the JRPG genre as a whole. Monolith Soft just keeps on getting better and better, and they proved it here with this masterpiece. So that's for my rankings of all the games in the Xeno series. But now, of course, I have to ask you, how would you rank all these games in the series? Because I would love to hear your thoughts and reasonings behind them, and we can all talk and chat about it in the comments. And if you do like this video, there's another video that I really do think that you'll thoroughly enjoy. So please do be sure to check that one out. Please leave a like and a comment, and as always, have a good day.